In the world of British television, few personalities shine as brightly as Ben Shephard. With his easy smile, calm voice, and natural ability to make anyone feel at ease, he has become a familiar presence in households across the country. Whether greeting viewers in the early hours of the morning or bringing fun and excitement to evening quiz shows, Ben has always carried himself with warmth, reliability, and the charm of someone who truly loves what he does. That behind the scenes, far from the cameras, far from the polished studio lights, far from the cheerful banter audiences adore, Ben has been facing a whirlwind of challenges that only a handful of people close to him knew existed. Challenges that reach deep into the private spaces of his life, into the heart of his family, and into moments that rarely find their way into headlines. For years, Ben has balanced his demanding career with personal responsibilities that would exhaust even the strongest of individuals. Yet he kept smiling, kept showing up, kept pouring energy into his work. Viewers only saw the polished version, the jokes, the smiles, the professionalism. But behind closed doors, things were more complicated. Tension within the family had slowly built over time, creating emotional storms that Ben tried his best to mediate. Friends say that the disagreements often stemmed from everyday things, priorities, expectations, misunderstandings, and occasionally from the pressures of having a loved one constantly in the public eye. Fame, after all, doesn't only affect the person at the center of it, it affects everyone around them. And when emotions run high, even small issues can grow into something larger. Ben, known for his calm temperament and peaceful nature, often found himself in the role of peacemaker, doing everything he could to keep harmony. Yet even the best peacemaker needs rest. To make matters more difficult, Ben had been dealing with personal losses that quietly weighed on his heart. The passing of close friends, supporting loved ones through difficult times, and moments of reflection that left him feeling the kind of heavy sadness people rarely discuss publicly. He has always been a private man when it comes to grief, preferring to process pain quietly rather than turning it into a spectacle. But to those who know him well, the change was noticeable. He became more thoughtful, more reflective, sometimes sitting quietly in the corner of a room before gathering himself and stepping into the public world once again. One friend, speaking gently, once said, "Ben feels deeply. It's part of what makes him such a good presenter, because he sees the humanity in everything. When life hurts, he doesn't shout about it. He just carries it, quietly, with grace." Still, carrying that weight while working early mornings, long filming days, charity commitments, and events would test anyone. And slowly, fans began to notice subtle signs, little changes in tone, the occasional hint of tiredness in interviews, moments where he seemed a touch more serious than usual. Nothing dramatic, nothing alarming, but enough for loyal viewers to wonder if something was troubling him. Yet despite everything, Ben continued to shine in the public eye. Somehow he kept smiling. Somehow he kept making others smile too. People closest to him say it's because of the support he has at home. Ben is devoted to his family, fiercely so. He may not always talk about them publicly, but behind every early morning shift and every late-night filming session, they are the reason he keeps going. Their encouragement, their love, their belief in him have been anchors during the hardest of days. And of course, Ben himself never loses his sense of humor. Even during family disagreements, he reportedly tries to lighten the mood with jokes or playful remarks, sometimes succeeding, sometimes only making people roll their eyes at him. But that too is part of his charm, the ability to bring a little light into dark moments. Over time, friends noticed something changing in Ben. Not in a negative way, but in a deeply human way. His challenges had made him more appreciative of the small things. He began taking longer walks, spending more time with his loved ones, prioritizing quiet evenings at home instead of overloading his schedule. He still worked as passionately as ever, but he began learning the art of balance. an art many people only discover after life nudges them toward reflection. And the romance in his life? Well, let's just say that he leaned even more closely into the support of the person who knows him best. Their bond grew stronger, filled with moments of quiet reassurance, shared laughter, and the kind of unspoken understanding that only comes from weathering storms together. Those close to the couple described them as a team, strong, affectionate, and always nudging each other toward optimism. In one lighthearted moment that friends still laugh about, Ben apparently tried to stage a family peace summit by arriving at a gathering with snacks, a playlist, and an overly dramatic speech about unity that sounded like something from a movie trailer. Half the family burst into laughter before he even got to the emotional part, and the tension dissolved almost instantly. That's the sort of humor Ben uses, not to hide problems, but to transform them into something manageable, something human. When whispers of his family struggles and private grief reached the public, fans across the UK reacted with shock and compassion for the presenter who had spent years brightening people's mornings. Ben always lifts our mood, one viewer wrote. He deserves the same kindness he gives to the world. Another said, he makes everything look easy, but now we see the strength behind the smile. Absolute legend. And they're right. His strength isn't in pretending everything is perfect. It's in his ability to keep moving, keep loving, keep giving, even when life becomes complicated. Colleagues describe him as one of the most empathetic people they have ever worked with. A man who asks how others are doing even when he's exhausted. A man who checks in on teammates, lifts spirits, and makes stressful days feel lighter. They say he brings a sense of comfort wherever he goes, not just to viewers, but to every person he works with. Ben Shephard's journey is a powerful reminder that public success does not erase private struggle, but it also shows that compassion, resilience, and love, real love, can carry someone through even the toughest times. He has faced conflicts, emotional hardship, and moments of overwhelming pressure. But with his family beside him, with support around him, and with a heart that refuses to give up, Ben continues to rise. The world may see the polished presenter on screen, the one who laughs, jokes, and guides audiences through their day. But behind that smile is a person who has faced real battles and chosen to respond with kindness rather than bitterness, with humility rather than pride, with love rather than division. And that is what makes his story truly inspiring. Ben Shephard reminds us that strength isn't always loud. Sometimes it's quiet. Sometimes it's gentle. Sometimes it looks like forgiveness, understanding, or simply trying again after a difficult day. His journey continues, full of growth, family bonds, unexpected humor, and newfound appreciation for the people who stand beside him through everything. He may be a familiar face on television, but behind the scenes, he is navigating the same complexities, emotions, and triumphs that define us all. And through it all, one thing is clear. Ben Shephard's greatest success isn't his career. It's the love, resilience, and connection he has built along the way.